Look around. Delivery drivers, rideshare cars, and freelancers. All signs of the gig economy. It promises freedom and flexibility. Technology connects those needing a service with those who can provide it instantly. This convenience has reshaped our lives. But for millions, it's about survival. They power this multi-billion-dollar industry, hustling day and night. This documentary, The Sharing Illusion, pulls back the curtain on this modern workforce. Is this the future of work we were promised, or something else entirely? Let's find out. At the heart of the gig economy is the algorithm, a digital manager that never sleeps. This complex code dictates who gets the next ride, which delivery is offered, and how much a task is worth. For the worker, the algorithm is a constant presence, creating a high-pressure environment where every second counts. This system is designed to maximize efficiency for the platform, but it often creates a frantic reality for the worker. They are in a race against the clock, but also a race against a machine that knows more about them than they know about it. It uses this data to nudge, push, and incentivize them into behaving in ways that benefit the company's bottom line, not necessarily their own. This creates the illusion of control. How independent can you be when an algorithm you can't see or understand controls your workflow? How much of a boss are you when you can be fired by an automated email with no explanation and no one to appeal to? The day for a gig worker often starts before sunrise. For Maria, a rideshare driver, it begins with checking multiple apps, each showing surge pricing zones. It's a strategic game of positioning her car where the money will be, while also monitoring food delivery apps. Every minute without a passenger is a minute she isn't earning. Across town, Jamal, a food delivery courier, checks the weather and plans his routes. His phone is his boss, sending a stream of orders, each with a ticking timer. The app tracks his every move, feeding data into an algorithm that decides his future. For both, being their own boss means bearing all the responsibility, constantly reacting to please an invisible manager. Their workday is a frantic dance choreographed by the platform's code. Let's take a closer look at this digital boss. The algorithm isn't just a simple tool for connecting customers to workers. It's a sophisticated system of behavioral control. It uses a technique called gamification to keep workers engaged and compliant. Think about it like a video game. Drivers and couriers get points for accepting orders, they unlock achievements for completing trips, and they face penalties for logging off during peak hours. These little rewards and punishments create a powerful psychological loop, encouraging them to stay on the road longer and accept jobs they might otherwise decline. This system creates a constant feeling of being watched and judged. Every customer interaction ends with a rating. A 5-star review keeps you in good standing. A 4-star review can be damaging. Anything less could put you at risk of deactivation. This pressure to maintain a perfect score is enormous. It forces workers to absorb the costs of customer dissatisfaction, even when the problem is completely out of their control. They have to smile, apologize, and hope for the best because a single bad rating could have serious consequences for their income. The algorithm also controls information. Workers are often given very little data before they accept a job. A rideshare driver might see a potential fare is 15 minutes away, but they won't know the final destination until the passenger is in the car. This is called information asymmetry. The platform knows everything, but the worker knows only what the algorithm chooses to reveal. This lack of transparency makes it nearly impossible for them to make informed decisions about which jobs are worth their time, gas, and effort. They are forced to operate in the dark, trusting that the system is fair. This isn't an accident, it's a design choice. By controlling the flow of information and gamifying the work, the platforms ensure they have a compliant workforce ready to meet demand at a moment's notice. It keeps drivers and couriers chasing the next ride, the next delivery, the next 5-star rating. It turns the promise of being an independent entrepreneur into a reality of being a player in a game where the house always has the advantage. The rules are complex, they change without notice, and the ultimate goal is always to maximize profit for the company. One of the most powerful tools is the bonus. Platforms offer financial incentives to get more workers on the road during busy times. It might be a quest bonus or a streak bonus. On the surface, these bonuses seem like a great deal, a chance to significantly boost earnings. For many workers, chasing these bonuses becomes the central focus. But these bonuses are a double-edged sword. When a big bonus is announced, it floods the streets with drivers, all competing for the same limited number of rides. The platforms create the demand for labor with the bonus, but they don't guarantee the work needed to actually achieve it. This chase often leads to exhaustion and risky behavior. The bonus system incentivizes them to prioritize the platform's goals over their own well-being and safety. Ultimately, this bonus system is another form of control disguised as an opportunity. They can simply dangle a financial carrot to get drivers exactly where they need them, when they need them. The reality is often a stressful and exhausting gamble. We've seen the hustle, now let's follow the money. Gig platforms are a story of explosive growth. They became unicorns, startups valued at over $1 billion. Uber, DoorDash, Instacart, their names became verbs. Fueled by cash from venture capitalists, they were betting on a new model of labor. Own the tech, connect the customers, and let contractors handle the costs. The goal was to grow at all costs, dominate the market, and hook users. It was a land grab for the future of service work. The founders became wealthy, but their success was built on millions of workers piecing together a living. The profits flowed up, while the precarity flowed down. Who pays for this new world of instant convenience? We, the consumers, pay a fee. But the workers on the front lines pay a much steeper price. This price isn't just measured in dollars and cents, it's measured in the lack of a safety net. For a traditional employee, a car accident on the job is covered by workers' compensation. A sudden illness means sick pay. Losing your job means you can apply for unemployment benefits. These are basic protections that have been the bedrock of fair labor for generations. For a gig worker, these protections are almost entirely absent. They are on their own. If a rideshare driver gets into an accident, navigating insurance can be a nightmare. Their personal auto insurance may not cover commercial activity, and the platform's insurance often has huge deductibles and limited coverage. If a delivery courier gets sick, they have a stark choice: work while ill or earn nothing. There are no paid sick days. There is no health insurance offered by the platform. They have to buy their own, often at exorbitant rates, or simply go without and hope for the best. This creates a constant state of financial vulnerability. And let's not forget the expenses. Gig workers are small business owners, but with only one client, the platform. They pay for their own gas. They pay for their own car maintenance, the extra oil changes, the new tires. They pay for their own phone and data plan, which is essential for the job. When you subtract all these costs from their daily earnings, the hourly wage can often fall well below the legal minimum wage in their city. The attractive fare you see on the screen is not what they take home. It's a gross figure that hides a mountain of hidden costs. This is the true cost of convenience. The system is designed to transfer all the operating risks from the multi-billion-dollar corporation to the individual worker. The company doesn't own a fleet of cars or a warehouse of bikes. It outsources that capital expense to its workforce. They don't have to worry about maintenance or depreciation. That's the driver's problem. The result is a system where consumers get cheap rides and fast deliveries, investors get rich, and the workers are left holding the bag, bearing the full financial weight of the service they provide. Let's call this the Great Risk Shift. Over the last century, societies built a social contract around work. Companies took on responsibilities in exchange for labor, providing paychecks, safety, and security. The gig economy has torn up that contract, shifting risks onto the individual. This dismantling impacts job security and financial planning. Gig workers can be deactivated at any moment for any reason, often by an automated system, leading to instant income loss. Unpredictable income makes financial planning nearly impossible. This risk shift is the core of the gig economy's business model, allowing rapid scaling and high valuations. By defining workers as independent contractors, platforms avoid employer responsibilities. The promise of being your own boss hides the harsh reality of being your own HR, IT support, and safety net. Imagine your key no longer works and you get an automated reply that your access has been revoked due to a policy violation. There is no manager or HR to talk to. You are simply locked out, your income gone. This is the reality of deactivation for gig workers. It's like being fired, but without the rights of traditional employees. Often, the worker is never told the reason for deactivation and is left in the dark. The lack of a fair appeals process is frightening. They get trapped in an endless loop of automated replies, unable to reach a human. This is not just unfair, it's dehumanizing. It creates a climate of fear, discouraging workers from speaking out. It is a system of control where the platform holds all the cards. Behind the data, there are human beings with families, dreams, and bills to pay. The constant hustle and financial instability take a profound toll. It's a deep exhaustion from long hours just to make ends meet. We spoke to David, a former teacher turned rideshare driver, about the pressure to drive late at night. He described falling asleep at a red light once. The flexibility promised feels more like a never-ending shift, compounded by financial anxiety. This isn't just about money, it's about dignity. The system is designed to make workers feel disposable, leading to hopelessness and isolation. The human cost is immense. Now, let's shift our perspective. Let's zoom out from the driver's seat and into the corner office. What does the world look like from the top of the gig economy pyramid? For the founders and CEOs of these platforms, life is very, very different. They are celebrated as innovators, the titans of a new technological era. They grace the covers of business magazines and give TED Talks about disrupting old industries and empowering individuals. Their narrative is one of bold vision, relentless ambition, and world-changing success. Their reality is one of unimaginable wealth and influence. While a gig worker is worrying about making rent, a tech CEO is exercising stock options worth millions or even billions of dollars. Their compensation packages are often hundreds, if not thousands, of times greater than the annual earnings of the workers who power their platforms. They live in sprawling mansions in exclusive neighborhoods, fly on private jets, and attend lavish conferences in exotic locations. Their schedules are packed, not with back-to-back deliveries, but with high-stakes board meetings, investor calls, and interviews with major news outlets. The word hustle means something entirely different in their world. The language they use is also telling. They don't talk about workers, they talk about partners. They don't talk about jobs, they talk about earning opportunities. They frame their business model as a form of liberation, offering people the freedom to escape the rigid 9-to-5 grind. This carefully crafted narrative serves a crucial purpose. It masks the fundamental power imbalance at the heart of the system. It presents a transactional relationship as a collaborative partnership, and it deflects criticism about low pay and poor conditions by emphasizing the flexibility that workers supposedly cherish above all else. This disconnect between the rhetoric of empowerment and the reality on the ground is staggering. The CEOs who design these systems will likely never experience what it's like to have their income depend on an opaque algorithm. They will never face deactivation by an automated email. They are shielded from the risks and hardships that are a daily reality for their workforce. They are the architects of a machine whose inner workings they will never have to personally navigate. This creates a deep and troubling chasm between the people who profit from the system and the people who are managed by it. Let's look at this contrast with a simple act: getting lunch. For a gig worker like Jamal, lunchtime is a strategic calculation, not a break. He often eats in his car, keeping one eye on the app for the next order. His meal is usually something quick and cheap. It is a moment of refueling, not relaxation. His car is his office, dining room, and waiting room, all in one. Now imagine lunch for a top executive, a power lunch at a Michelin-starred restaurant. The purpose of this lunch isn't just to eat, it's to network and strategize. The cost of the meal is naturally a business expense. Here, there is no ticking clock. It's a tale of two vastly different worlds that are deeply linked. The executive's lavish lunch is, in a way, subsidized by Jamal's rushed meal. Two sides of the same coin, illustrating who truly profits from this system. When managed by an app and fired by email, how do gig workers fight back? The answer starts with connection. Workers find each other in online forums and group chats, sharing stories and strategies. They realize their struggles. Low pay, sudden deactivations are widespread, not isolated. This digital solidarity sparks collective action. No longer just app users, they become a community with shared interests. Online conversations lead to real-world protests. Drivers log off during peak events, hold press conferences, and organize. They use the same technology that manages them to fight for transparency, fair pay, and a voice in decisions. It's not about massive salaries, it's about respect, security, and basic dignity. They demand to be seen as humans, not just data points in an algorithm. The fight for dignity is a fight to be recognized and heard. Online forums were just the spark. Soon, digital whispers became public roars. Gig workers worldwide moved from isolation to mass protests, rallies, strikes, and convoys outside company headquarters. Their signs read, "Fair pay now, we are not robots." Their physical presence disrupted the seamless system, forcing companies and the public to pay attention. Media coverage exposed the human cost behind convenience, challenging the platform's polished image. Protesting is risky, lost income, fear of retaliation, but workers persist. They've reached a breaking point, choosing action over silence. These public demonstrations force society to confront the reality behind the apps. The movement is now impossible to ignore. It's a fight for justice fueled by necessity. The gig workers' voices are finally being heard. As protests grew, the fight shifted to lawmakers and courts. The core question: are gig workers contractors or employees? Employee status means rights, minimum wage, benefits, unionizing. Tech companies fight back, lobbying and funding campaigns to protect their model. Labor groups counter with stories of exploitation and demand dignity. This is a battle over the future of work. Will technology erode protections, or can we create a fairer system? The outcome will set the rules for the next generation of workers. The stakes couldn't be higher. Some workers aren't waiting for reform, they're building their own platforms. Worker-owned co-op apps flip the script. Drivers set policies, share profits, and own the technology. The Drivers Cooperative in New York lets drivers keep over 90% of fares, prioritizing people over profit. Competing with tech giants is tough, but these co-ops prove the technology isn't the problem. The business model is. Co-ops rely on community support and conscious consumers. They return to the original sharing economy ideal. Value stays with those who do the work. It's a difficult path, but it offers hope and a real alternative. Workers aren't just resisting, they're building something new. This is solidarity in action, rewriting the rules of the gig economy. The co-op movement is a blueprint for a fairer future. The gig economy stands at a crossroads. One path leads to more gig-ified, unstable work, with companies maximizing profit and workers bearing all the risk. The other path insists technology must serve people, not just profit. This means fair pay, safety, a voice at work, and protection from arbitrary decisions. The choice isn't just for tech companies, it's for all of us. Workers, policymakers, and consumers. Will we demand a system that values dignity and fairness? The future of work is unwritten, the hustle is real, but so is the hope. Our choices now will shape what comes next. Which path will we take? Every time you order a ride or meal, remember, there's a person behind the app, hustling to make ends meet. The convenience we enjoy is built on real human labor, not just algorithms. The sharing economy often masks a system of control and instability. Platforms set the rules, but workers pay the price. Change is possible through co-ops, organizing, and new laws. We must decide, do we value speed and price or the well-being of those who serve us? The real cost of convenience is a question for all of us. What are we willing to pay for a fairer future?